Hi, my name is Linda. I'm an online service provider, including personal training in Pilates. Jospeh Pilates, the inventor of Pilates, is someone who inspires me. So I'd like to share a few ways throughout his life where I've been inspired and why I think his work is going to continue on for generations. Jospeh Pilates was someone who was born in the 1880s in Germany, and he died in the 1960s in the United States. Jospeh Pilates was not born super healthy. He had a lot of health challenges as a child. And he studied Eastern and Western modalities. He studied ancient techniques, including those from the Romans and the Greeks, and he started integrating these things into his own body to become stronger and more physically fit. This really inspires me as I've faced health challenges throughout my life because it encourages me to lean in, to see what I can learn, and to see how I can grow and become stronger. During World War I, Jospeh Pilates, who was German-born, ended up interned in a camp in England. During his time as a prisoner of war, he used his knowledge and skills to get debilitated and injured individuals in the camp stronger. He used what was available to him to develop equipment that we know today as the Pilates reformer. But what he used in the camp to develop that equipment was actually hospital beds. And so if Jospeh Pilates, during a time of chaos in the world, can be creative and resourceful and share his gifts, this inspires me also, regardless of my circumstances, to be creative and resourceful and to share the knowledge and the skills that I have. Jospeh Pilates moved to New York City and opened an exercise studio there. During that time, he tried to get the word out about his method called Contrology and the work he was doing. He put advertisements in newspapers. He contacted the President of the United States trying to get his method in schools. He tried contacting furniture companies to manufacture his furniture and equipment. He recorded himself. He wrote a couple books. He had interns. And at the end of his life, he was sad because he didn't feel like he saw the fruits of his labor. But his interns and some of the individuals that worked with them, 12 total, went on to carry on his work and teach it to others. Those people are now considered the elders or the first generation teachers. Those 12 individuals teaching others eventually grew to what Pilates is today. And so the focus that Jospeh Pilates had to spend his entire life getting the word out about his message and the fruits that came from that later really inspire me to keep going when I have powerful messages, especially those based on truth. When I did my Pilates training, which was now over 20 years ago, my training was over 400 hours in Pilates mat and equipment. I had the opportunity to learn someone who had trained with all 12 of those that went on to carry on Jospeh Pilates' work. And now I realize what a privilege that was. When I was teaching Pilates, I was able to work with two of these individuals in day-long workshops. They include Lolita and Mary Bowen. And meeting individuals who had worked with Jospeh Pilates and practiced Pilates and taught Pilates their whole life, and now we're sharing the history of Pilates and everything they learned with me, was just such a special time to be able to experience. I believe the Pilates work is going to carry on for generations. Here's why. Pilates is actually based on something that existed before Jospeh Pilates. Jospeh Pilates was just the man brave enough to practice on himself, to teach others, and to get the message out. What Jospeh Pilates fundamentally based his method contrology on are the movement patterns found in nature. And these movement patterns existed before Jospeh Pilates, and they continue to exist today. And so I believe the movements that Jospeh Pilates took from animals and from nature are going to continue on for generations. Now, will his equipment or his patents continue on for generations? Those may or may not continue. But the movements such as hug a tree, which is very much like a koala bear might grab onto a tree, or prehensile position, which might be a bird or an animal perched on a branch, or the exercises named after animals, elephant, monkey, cat, jackrabbit, or rolling like a ball, which came from bears. These movements are movements from nature that are going to continue on for generations.